So you hear me all the time talk about me showing up to help women build a life that they love. And for me, I believe that there is two halves to making that possible for you. I believe that you have to believe in who you are and you have to believe in what you can do. But I also recognize that sometimes we need to get clear. We need clarity in order to move forward because we have so many thoughts in our mind that we need to settle so that we can begin to engage. That is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about my conversation today. I think this is going to help us begin to understand how we can move forward and see clearly so that we truly can build a life that we love. Now let's get into it. For the longest time, I secretly wanted more. I often found myself shrinking to fit in, settling for what was comfortable, and even selling myself short. Once I finally accepted that we deserve success and we are blessed with the power to achieve it, I stopped playing small. I'm serious about building a life I love, and you should be too. I'm Denise Taylor of DeniseTaylor.live, and welcome to Embrace Your Power. I help women prioritize themselves, their success, and their happiness. Now let's meet this week's achiever whose story will inspire you to embrace your power and go. Well, hello there. It's Denise Taylor here. You know, I'm always excited to have you join me each and every week right here on Embrace Your Power. Now, this is the place where you can count on me to always encourage you to build a life that you love. And more than that, I believe that God has given you power to do it. You see, in his word, he said he didn't give us fear. He gave us power. And when we embrace our power, we truly can do, have, and achieve anything that we want. Now, I will tell you, I believe you'll be divinely inspired to go after the things that he wants to partner with you to accomplish. And when you do that, you are going to light up from the inside with so much satisfaction and fulfillment. Now, I talk a lot about the success superpowers because this is the place where I believe when you put them into action, you will see results, successful results happen in your life. Now, if you're not familiar with the success superpowers, then I invite you to visit my website, successsuperpowers.live, to learn more. But let me just give you a snapshot so you can have a sense of what I'm talking about. Success superpower number one is see yourself successful. You've got to begin envisioning yourself accomplishing the thing that you want to do. And number two is to shake off fear, because once you start allowing yourself to believe and envision the possible you will feel fear. Fear is not a bad thing. It signals when we need to give attention. But I don't want fear to paralyze you. I want you to be able to shake it off. Number three is do the work. Guess what? You got a role to play into becoming everything you dream to be. But the good news is God said he'll bless the work of your hand. So as you start to do the thing, he will bless the thing. Number four is take care of you. In this journey, it's going to demand a lot from you, but I want you to have a plan, a strategy to take care of you. And the biggest revelation that I've had recently is self-care is about receiving. Open yourself up to receive the support and help that you need. And number five is hold fast to your faith. We've got to have something that we can cling to in the days of contradiction. It's inevitable that there are going to be moments when you expect it to go right and it goes left. You expect it to go up and it goes down. You even expect it to go well and it doesn't. And it's in those times that your faith is going to make a difference. So I unpack way more about the success superpowers on that short video. And if you visit my website, www.successsuperpowers.live, you can learn more. Now, I want to talk a little bit about more. us desiring more for our lives. The unfortunate thing is we created a tendency, we've been conditioned to not fully go after the things that we truly want, the things that will light us up and bring life to our day. And so I want to challenge you, especially in this season, and I want you to know that you can have more. We both know that you still want it, but I want you to know that you can have it. You can lean into your aspirations. You can lean into your possibility. You can lean into truly being, doing, having, and achieving. And in this season, I want that for you. And so in our conversation today, you're going to discover how you might be multi-passionate. You might have a lot of things that interest you, but if you get clarity, you can go after those things. You can go after the more you want with good intention. I am so excited about my guest today. Jateya is a coach, and you're going to hear in the conversation, she is intentional about coaching people who have a desire to accelerate their lives. The conversation that we had is so powerful. So I invite you to get a paper out, get a pen out, because she's dropping gems on how you can indeed lean in to going for the more that you want. Now, before we get into our amazing conversation today, I want to share something new and special with you. Well, I don't know if you've heard the news, but I want you to know I have a brand new podcast, and I want to invite you to take a listen. I'm the Good Thing. The podcast is the place where we unpack life wisdom. We pray, we affirm, and most of all, we discover our true beauty, our worth, and our power. You see, I'm all about helping women build a life they love, and I know that begins with us believing everything good about who we are. Now, the format of I'm the Good Thing is a bit different. While it's a sister podcast to Embrace Your Power, it is a bite-sized version of life-winning wisdom to help you change the game. These 5-minute episodes are designed for you to be able to listen while you do your makeup, or listen while you have your coffee, or even listen on the drive into work. I want you to energize your day in a God kind of way, and I'm the Good Thing is the motivation you need. New episodes release on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to help you power through the week. Now take a listen to I'm the Good Thing and be encouraged in your journey. Well, here's what you need to know about my guest today. I am so excited to welcome Jateya Jones to Embrace Your Power. She is the founder of Jateya Jones Consulting, and she has a passion to dig deep inside the heart of ambitious go-getters and provide them with the clarity to connect the dots between their true calling in life and their passion, the dots between their vision and their reality, and coach them on how to clearly communicate their superpowers to others. Jateya Jones Consulting was birthed from the desire to help multi-passionate entrepreneurs and small business owners gain clarity to overcome roadblocks and find their way. Jateya is also the host of the Confident and Courageous Clarity podcast. I have had the opportunity to call her coach. She absolutely is in her sweet spot when it comes to helping you get clear about what it is that's going to connect you to your effort and activity. So let's get into it. And I believe there'll be many nuggets for you to glean. I am so excited to have, well, I call her Coach Jateya, but it's Jateya Jones of the Jateya Jones Consulting firm joining me today. I am super excited because the space that she serves in has really been one to usher me to a lot of the things that I am walking in and experiencing now. And so having her join me here on Embrace Your Power just feels like a full circle moment. She invests a lot of her wit and wisdom into those that she serves. And she helps to, as she says, unscramble the scramble. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I just want to welcome you, Jateya, to Embrace Your Power and say once again how honored I am to have you. And I told him a little bit about you, but why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you. I really love what you're doing for the people. And when I asked you on the podcast, your episode was like the kickoff for multi-passionates. And so I really appreciate you and your gifts. But hello, everyone. I'm Jateya Jones of Jateya Jones Consulting. And I help multi-passionates, visionaries, and trailblazers really gain the clarity needed to transform their dreams into reality and walk in purpose. I have not always had the clarity myself. It has definitely been a journey, but it's been a blessing to also be able to coach and help women globally really identify their purpose and create a winning plan for them. Because for me, I'm a multi-passionate. And so I have always had dreams that I just dived into to turn them into reality. But I never had a plan. I would create, a SMART goal. I'm going to say I'm do this by this date and da, 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 and then I just go. And so I really, really, really have enjoyed helping people create that roadmap to success. And in my definition, making your dreams come true and living the life of your dreams includes prospering in purpose. If you can literally just do the thing that you naturally do, that you love, and prosper from it and help others do the same, you're winning in life and in business. And so that's what I love to do. I'm on a mission this year to help 100,000 multi-passionates just stop dreaming about the life that they want and actually live the life of their dreams.
So when I hear you say 100,000, girl, I need to stretch. My number is wimpy compared to that. So you are sending me back to the drawing board because I have not stressed enough. So I already got my nugget for today, or at least the beginning one, I should say. So when I first ran across you, when I first came into knowing you and I heard you tell like your background of all the things that you had done, on the initial perspective, you would say she was like all over the board. You had the full gamut of experience in things that you were doing, but you locked in on the silver lining of them all and really created your firm into something that now helps to serve other people. So give us a little bit of a peek into your career and your entrepreneurial journey.
So I have always been, we'll say an entrepreneur but mostly a hustler with some very expensive hobbies, right? Because I always wanted that more. I wanted to actually love the thing that I did. And I always wanted to help people behind that. But then I became the employeepreneur. I had the 9 to 5 and the 5 to 9 because my job really did not leverage my passions and my purpose. I love public health. I love instructional design. I'm a certified nail tech, a certified bartender. I've done event planning. Like you said, the whole gamut. If I thought about it, if I loved it, I tried to make money from it. And what I noticed is that my roadblock or stumbling block was I was chasing the money. And I tell people, I feel like I was born into survival mode. And so that was my normal. That's what I knew how to do. I knew how to go get another job. I knew how to work multiple jobs and have side hustles to really have a cohesive life. But when I sat down, when I became burnt out and I was tired, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was like, okay, let's really dive in and hone in. And I started to ask myself a set of questions. And like you called it the silver lining, I call it the common thread, where I was able to identify, you know what? There's some synergies among all of these different things that I'm doing that I didn't even pay attention to. I knew in my gut that they went together some kind of way. I just didn't know how to um, put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I tell people, you have all of the pieces of the puzzle. You just need someone to help you put them together. It's like trying to do 1,000-piece puzzle by yourself. But when you have that help to really start to help you say, you know what? All these colors go together. All these colors go together. So 9 times out of 10, that piece of the puzzle goes together. And so that's what it was for me. I walked myself through what I call the ABCs of clarity. I had to accept that it's okay to be multi-passionate. It's okay to be great at a lot of things, even though people try to shame you and pigeonhole you by saying, oh, you're a jack of all trades, a master of none. You need to niche down. You're all over the place, the looks, the glares, the disgust. And what I realized with that from accepting everything about me is that most of those individuals were followers. They weren't leaders. And I won't say hated, they were irritated by me just embracing my light and letting it shine and not being a follower. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to dim that light so that they didn't have to shine brighter. Mm-hmm. And then I also had to believe that I could prosper in this purpose, that there was more for me, that I could obtain this thing. Mm-hmm. And then I had to connect the dots from my past, present, and where I was trying to go and connect with the people that could help make that a reality. And so those are the ABCs to clarity. And once I walked through that and my common thread method, and I was able to see the synergies and not just focus on silos of the different passions, I realized that the passions are my how. They're not my what. They're not my purpose. And so many people are seeking to figure out which passion is my purpose. And honestly, none of them are. They're how you walk in your purpose. And so once you know your what, the how doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You can master entrepreneurship in any of your passions, if not multiple or all of your passions, once you truly know your what and stop chasing the money. But that's part of, as I call it, the life cycle of a multi-passionate. As kids, we go through this exploration phase, and then parents, they love us out of safety. They're like, no, you got to get a good job. And so we're pushed to figure out what you want to do when you grow up. And so we start to chase the money. We get the good job. But that becomes either it's not enough money or the money is not enough. It's not enough to make me stay here. It's not enough. It's not fulfilling. And then we go on a journey of seeking clarity. And hopefully you find me and I can help you then connect the dots so you can prosper in purpose. And so that's how I've evolved myself. And now I take people pretty much on that same journey.
What's incredible is the episode that I did with you is where I finally began to understand myself, right? The term multi-passionate, it was something that I had not heard before, but that actually gave me a lot more clarity as to why I can enjoy and show up in so many different ways. My next question for you was unpacking these Jateya-isms, if I could call them that, some phrases that I've heard you say that have stuck with me that I even remind myself of. And multi-passionate is one of them. And so everyone can come along with us, give us some definition around that and how we can begin to identify ourselves if that kind of fits for us.
Mm-hmm. I describe us as visionaries with world-changing ideas. Mm-hmm. And we have a fire to make all of them come true. And we're good at so many things without a lot of effort. Mm-hmm. And so that's a multi-passionate. You are passionate. You enjoy doing a bunch of different things. And you want to make them all come true. And all of them are going to change the world for the better. 9 times out of 10, they are things that may exist, but you see them in a totally or non-traditional way. Mm-hmm. And I try to tell people all the time, television didn't exist before it existed. And can you imagine someone saying, I'm going to make this box where people talk out of it, or the cell phone, or even better yet, the guy who created the pet rock. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to do it just to make people happy. But even more so, just being a change agent or visionary is that you're a trailblazer, but a lot of times you feel like the black sheep and you don't want to stand out, even though you can't help but stand out because you're a black sheep among the white flock, right? But you try to blend in so much, and one day, hopefully, you'll realize that you just have to be the blueprint. And once you create the blueprint of something, this vision, this thing that doesn't exist or could exist better, you will become a trailblazer and maybe trailblaze on to be an icon. And so, if any of those things, if you feel like this burning fire that you are destined for more icon level, trailblazer level, it's scary. And that you want to change the world for better, and you have a bunch of different ideas and ways to do it, you're multi-passionate.
Mm-hmm. And I really wish I would have had the ability to lean into it much sooner in life. But one of the things that is a bit of a pet peeve for me is people who discount themselves because of their age, and they feel as if life has passed them by. And to that, I say, it's not over for you. You still have impact to make. It doesn't matter what your age number is. If you will get out of your own way and begin to lean into what you feel, lean into what's fulfilling, it can still happen for you. And so for myself, when we had the conversation and I had the aha moment, I never feared that I have lived a lot of life. I really embraced the fact that I had a lot to bring to the table. And now I can articulate better and understand myself in it. And so it's funny because that's how I will introduce myself. I'm a multi-passionate, which means people ask me all the time, exactly what do you do? Because I show up in so many different ways to make the impact that I want to make. And so I just think that you blessed my life when you released that perspective, because it finally gave me a place to fit with all of the things. The next thing that is just like Jateya, and you see this word, it's clarity. Like you see Jateya's face, you see clarity. And so how did you begin leaning into that? How did you know that that was a superpower that you could walk in not only for yourself, but that you could unleash that to help free other people?
So I'm gonna answer that question, then I want to hop backwards just a little bit. But with clarity is when I first started to truly invest in myself and get coaching for myself. And so I entered into the program, and I was like, at the time I was a natural networker, and I was helping students and introverts network, which are like introverts network. Yes. And I'm doing what I naturally do. I'm asking questions. Ever since a kid, I was very inquisitive, right? And the coach is like, ma'am, I think you do clarity. And I'm like, no, that is not what I'm here for. Okay, let's focus. And so she's like, no, I think you do. And so as I began to really take a deeper dive, all of the aha started to happen. I have an undergraduate degree in technical communications. We make technical information clear for the layman person, right? Or the regular everyday person. Jateya. And then what else? I have a master's in public health and health education specifically. And we help make your health goals clearer so they're more attainable. We make them into small, manageable pieces. That is what it was there. It was like, how did you miss it? Right. And so once I started to see the clusters of colors in the puzzle, I took a minute to accept it. But then once I really dived in, I was like, wow, this is what you do. It's like a refining moment for me. It's like I was clear, but just on a surface level. And so the more I dived into that, I was able to really get to the root of so many different things. That's how I got to the common thread method. It was like, I was here to support every multi-passionate in the world and cheer you on and tell you that you're have a superpower and you're extra special. But what did that look like to really help you master that? Because for me, being a multi-passionate and doing all the research, all I saw was Marie Forleo, and she had the B school, but I was like, that's not helping me master my different passions. It's just helping me learn about business, really. And so I just dive deeper and ask myself, why? Like a toddler, over and over and over again. And that's how we got to focusing and being all about clarity, because that is literally the roots. If you can get to the roots, everything else will blossom, personally and professionally. Because a lot of times we try to put those in silos. And you're human. Life is life. You're multifaceted. You're multidimensional. None of us are like in 1D. Like we're not, and we shouldn't live that way. And so clarity is the source to unlock the success to be able to blossom in all areas.
That's powerful. So powerful. And so this catchphrase is signature, Jateya. And I know it probably came from a place of you helping someone really embrace their power, if I could say it that way. But you tell the story behind who gonna check you, boo,
Yeah.
because that is something that is just a signature phrase that you say. It's almost like when you grab someone by the shoulders and you're shaking them in that moment kind of statement to stop the swirl and all of that. But help us understand where it came from and why it's so powerful.
So, one with me, I had to, because I'm always my first client, right? I'm going to test everything on myself before I put it in the atmosphere on anyone else, because I want to know that I know that I know that I know that it's going to be beneficial. But I had to look myself in the mirror, like literally look myself in the eyes and be like, who going to check you? Because when you lived as a multi-passionate, and so many people, 9 times out of 10 in your area code and zip code don't get you. They don't understand you. You feel like the outlier. You feel like a weirdo. You feel like something's wrong, even though your gut is telling you everything is right in your mind and this is how things should be. And so you are conditioned and transformed to shrink and shame and not listen to your gut. And we end up on a cycle of, I knew I shouldn't have listened to, or I knew I shouldn't. And it takes some shaking up before you to say, well, stop going to that person for advice, or stop doing the opposite of what your gut is telling you to do. And really ask yourself, who gonna check you, boo? Like who? Seriously, who?
Mm-hmm.
This is your life. You only have one life to live. And so many of us have been conformed and conditioned to live it for others, especially as women. We put ourselves on the bottom of the list. It's like, let me do for everybody else before I do for myself. And my personal story was I was burnt out. I was too tired to make my dreams come true because I was so filling my cup, helping everybody else make their dreams come true. And I had to realize I needed to give from my saucer, not from my cup, but I needed to be full in order to do that. So I never went empty, and I could make my dreams come true and not give them breadcrumbs, but give them a 5-course meal because I wasn't tired. I wasn't burnt out. And so when those whispers of doubt that no one else hears but you are getting you down and out, or maybe I shouldn't do it well. If I had this idea, somebody else should have created it by now if it was going to work. Or like you said, I'm too old to even start now. Who going to check you? Try, see what happens. Because nobody's going to check you but you. You allow yourself to succumb to the whispers of doubt, and nobody hears them but you. Now, granted, we have a lot of people, a lot of naysayers who also verbally say them out loud and try to crush your dreams. But that's why you have people like us, other multi-passionates who get you. Find your tribe, right? But always remember, look yourself in the mirror on those days, because they come in waves, and say, who gonna check you, boo?
So good. So good. And I will tell you, I use it as a wake-up call to myself, because sometimes we can allow ourselves to fall into the people pleasing or the opinions of others, or even the self-doubt that may come. But the reality is, we have been gifted, we have been blessed to be able to move in this space. And if we will be courageous enough to do it, it doesn't matter what they say, and it doesn't matter what they challenge. We can lean into everything we know about ourselves.
Because every trailblazer and every icon did not have a tribe of people following behind them until they did the thing.
That is true.
You know all those people that were like against somebody, and then all of a sudden there's like, I knew them when we were growing up, right?
Mhm.
Because you had to prove, you had to show and prove. Ice Cube said it best. He was like, nobody wants to lose, so they only jump on board when they know you're gonna win. And a
Mm.
lot of times, as multi-passionates, we see the vision, we see the end, and we see it in 4K,
Mm.
but nobody else does. And we have a hard time articulating the vision, so that people can have buy-in even when they can't see it. But before we move on, I did want to go back really quickly because you were talking about leaning into that impact. And one of the things that I recently realized is that more that we feel is the level of impact that we're supposed to have on the world, that we were born to destine the world with. And if you don't lean into it, you'll never get to it. And so a lot of times you feel yourself saying, "Ooh, I feel like I'm getting closer to my more. I still don't know what it is. It's not very clear as of yet, but it's a gut feeling that I'm getting closer." And it's because you're leaning into that impact. You're serving, you're doing. Because as you know, the clarity is in the doing. And so as you lean into that impact, you're going to get closer and closer and closer to that more.
Mhm. That is so powerful. And I have discovered in my own journey that what you just said is true. The clarity is absolutely in the doing. And when you find that there are good things, really good things that you could do, you'll be willing to give up the good to truly go for the great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we get stuck just doing a lot of things because we're multi-passionate and because we can. But there comes a tipping point with some of the things on your plate that you may have to make a choice, that I got to let that good thing go to the side and lean into these greater things because of the impact that you've been called to achieve with them. And I can speak very directly to one. Doing Couples Love Week was a passion of mine. I mean, I loved it. I did, 4 seasons of Couples Love Week. I had some amazing couples grace the virtual stage. We had some incredible conversations about love relationships and how to navigate them. There is absolutely good work there. But what I am called to do is a bit greater than just serving in that good space. And so I was challenged with, am I going to continue to spread myself thinner to continue to do good things, or am I going to lean into that greater thing? And so as you're working with your clients, how do you help them navigate choices like that?
Well, honestly, the clearer you get, the more clarity you have, your priorities shift.
Mm-hmm.
So you become more comfortable with, I won't say letting go, I'll say putting to the side. Because I've even brought some things back at a later date after the focus was on this. Because just like any building block, what you do now helps you do this, helps you do this, which is why I'm so adamant about having a plan to win. Because then you can see how all the pieces of the puzzle go together and you don't have to completely throw it away. You know, I'm a foodie and I always give food analogies. And so in my mind, it's like cooking in a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need this ingredient right now, but I have it all out here on the table. So I'm just going to push it to the side until it's the best time to use it. Yeah, I could use it now, but something's going to burn or it's not going to come out right. There's a time and a place for things. But when you have the clarity, it becomes very clear as to when it's time to use that or do that thing. And therefore, you don't have to let it go. You don't have to throw it away. You just put it to the side until it's the best time to do it. And so your priorities shift and you're like, I'm focusing on this passion or this thing or this, my how. Like I said earlier, your how doesn't matter as long as you know your what. And so I'm going to focus on this how. This is how I'm going to walk in purpose today.
That is so powerful. I mean, this is like real time coaching, you guys, because I still have a heart tug there, right? And I still have a desire. I still am very passionate. I got a whole book about love relationships. So I am still very much caring and desiring that lane. And so the reality is I don't have to stop. It's just not the focus at this time. And allowing myself to walk in that really gives me a sense of release, because I was really having some internal battles with wanting to still serve in that vein. And so it's just not the priority right now, but that does not mean it won't resurrect. So I receive that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my next question is this. When I was looking at your website, I thought that this was a really cool statement. You shared that the top 3 reasons clients seek clarity are these: they lack profit, they lack career fulfillment, and they have a desire for increased program success. And so, how did you hone on these things being a need for clarity? Because a lot of people will think that they are a need for some type of action. And so I think the fact that you honed in and said there's some clarity to be had is a very wise point. Unpack that for us.
Mm-hmm. So for many, like I said earlier, we'll create a SMART goal and we just dive in, right? But for me, that's like getting in the car and just say, GPS, take me to the store. Mm-hmm. And then you get to TJ Maxx and you really need it to be at the grocery store. You really need to be clear, very specific, like detailed. You know, for my faith-based people, we all know, write the vision, make it plain. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop with just writing the vision. And so when you're feeling blocked, when you're feeling stuck, you really have to get the clarity, specific clarity, so that you can choose, I want not just any grocery store, but a Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. And I don't want the Trader Joe's 2 states over. I want the Trader Joe's within a 5-mile radius, mm-hmm. right? And so when you get the clarity needed, you can go where you're trying to go sooner, quicker, faster. You can get what you want sooner, quicker, faster. Mm-hmm. I tell my nephew, I did a podcast, Lessons Learned from my nephew, or taught to my nephew. And I'm like, just do what your daddy asked you to do so we can hurry up and get back to playing. Mm-hmm. Like, do the thing. Be clear about the thing. You were given instructions, but you can't follow those instructions until you get clarity. Mm-hmm. A lot of us as entrepreneurs try to jump out here and we're like, oh, we need branding, we need marketing. And you're not even really truly clear, especially as multi-passionates, on what that looks like. And so you get people saying, well, you need a website for this and a website for this and a website for this. So let's just start with this website and we'll forget all about that. Or they say you need to niche down. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's like wait until your spaghetti noodles stop boiling before you do your meat sauce. That makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. So you need the clarity to really be able to dive in. And like I said earlier, most people as adults, we have to survive, right? And so we start to chase the money. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to that, you know, really needing more money or seeking more money, we get clouded because the focus should be why. Mm-hmm. Your focus should be your why. As multi-passionates, that's how you get people to buy into your vision when they can't see it. They need to know your why, but you need to be clear on your why.
Mm-hmm. So why do you believe that unscrambling the scramble is the thing that sets leaders and entrepreneurs free? And I know part of it is the clarity piece, but it just seems like once they get that, right, once they'll take time to get that, because one of the things, to your point, that I see often, especially with people that I even work with, they are so ready to go that they don't even have a plan. Like, you haven't even thought about what your next steps need to be, how you're going to execute. You're so busy doing that you miss that whole part of the process. And so why is that so powerful to really allow leaders and entrepreneurs to soar, that gift you have of unscrambling the scramble?
Because, as I say, but focus is the journey and clarity is your destination. And so what you're focused on is what direction you go in. And even though you know where you're supposed to be going, you know where your heart wants to lead you, but if you're not focused on the right thing because your priorities are out of whack or out of order, you're going to keep hitting a brick wall time and time again. And so we have to unscramble all the things. This is why I was saying life and your professional and personal life are one and the same. And I have my planner, the Plan to Win planner. That was one of the dreams that I made come true because I was always marking up regular planners because I had my personal and my professional things I was trying to do. And if I only focus from 9 to 5 on work, when I had downtime, I was worried or stressed out or and I found all the different things that would come in my way and in my peripheral to distract me from where I really needed to go and what I needed to do. And so first we have to unscramble things for you to know one, everything that's there, because we forget about things because we one try to keep it all in our heads normally.
Mhm.
And two, we just got a lot going. Life be lifing. And so we need to truly unscramble in order for you to start to gain the clarity you need to move forward in the right direction.
So let's talk about your plan to win programs, your plan to win resources, and how you're really showing up to serve in this space.
Mhm. So pretty much everything will fall under a plan to win something. But we start off with the Clarity Community. It's a free community on Facebook. Come play with us. Because I feel that we need a safe space in order to be able to accept ourselves for who we are and truly embrace everything that is us and our superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So we start there. From the Clarity Community, we have the Clarity Circle. When you want a little bit more time to start to connect those dots. I'm a nerd, and so I'll nerd out on the stats. And the stats show me that a lot of us try to DIY in the dark for at least 2 years because of pride, or I can do it by myself, or shame. I don't want anybody to know, or call me insane for wanting to leave my C-suite job to go pursue a passion, right? And so we have that to help you connect those dots and figure out your common thread. Then we have the Plan to Win incubator, where we keep you nice and warm in this intimate container to really help you build your blueprint, to take you from that black sheep to trailblazer. We really take the time in 12 weeks to build it out and implement it. Because I know for me in a lot of programs, it was you learn the thing, then they send you off your way, they kick you out the nest to fly. And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what this thing called a wing is, right? And I wanted to give extra time for you to be able to dibble and dabble and tweak things, because most of us are perfectionists. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and to perfect is an action, and we don't realize that. And so we always want to make it perfect before we put it out there, but you need to perfect it before it becomes perfect. And so in the incubator, we take time to build out your blueprint and start to perfect it so that when you do leave the nest, you have something to keep tweaking and perfecting. And then after that, we have the winner's circle, which is more so mastermind style. You have this business, it's running, it's going, but like most visionaries, it's evolving like at light speed. And you're having another download about this is where I really want to take it. And this dream is so big that it's scary. And we pull together, we brainstorm, we pull together resources, we share our network, and we support one another in helping you scale and grow. And through all of that, we have the Plan to Win planner. At any stage within your clarity journey, the planner is there to really help you take this big, audacious goal, break it down into steps. And a lot of times we stop at steps, but we help you break it down even more so into tasks. And that is what the planner is for. And then you break it down into quarters, weeks, days, and you just go. And you go. If you do 3 things a day, you're getting step by step. It might feel not like a lot, but you're truly progressing, not just being productive.
Now, I don't know if you just heard what Jateya said. She said many of us have a tendency to spiral with what we want for 2 years before we will take action. 2 whole years. Now, that's a long time to secretly want more. But I have to be honest with you. I spiraled and wanted more for way longer than that. And this is the reason why I know that we can lean into what it is that we want, the things that are within us that we are called to do, if we will simply get out of our own way. When I think about the amount of time that I put on hold, the things that I really wanted to do, the impact that I really wanted to make, the call that I really felt I had, I now regret waiting so long. So I don't know if you're like the statistic where you are waiting for your 2-year time to be up, or if you're like me, where you've wanted it for far longer than that. I want to encourage you to get out of your own way. I want you to prioritize what it is you want, and I want to encourage you to go for it. That's the premise of Embrace Your Power. And to help you, I put a video together that just simply talks about when we want more. So I invite you to go to my website, womenwantmore.live, and take a listen to a very short video that I put together of how you can begin to get out of your own way. Again, that website is womenwantmore.live. And I believe if you'll just take time to listen to how you can begin to move forward, then you will be able to remove yourself from standing in the shadows and show up fully for everything that you want. So now that we're back, I want to just dive in a little deeper into the wisdom of all you've gained from your own journey, as well as from working with other women and entrepreneurs. So let's talk about facing and overcoming fear. Tell us how to navigate fear and limiting beliefs.
So talk to yourself. And a song always pops in my head, and so I was trying not to sing to you guys, but talk to yourself when there is no one to talk to. But mainly talk to yourself even when there is, because talking to yourself and tapping into yourself more, it's what's going to help you continue to practice what I call the light switch method. In all of our homes, when you first move in, you know where the light switches are, but you literally have to go into the room to turn them off. Anybody that has kids running around, their lights always left on. And so, but as you live in the home a little bit longer and you tap more into it, you get used to it. You don't even have to break your stride as you walk past the room to stick your hand in there and hit the light switch. And so when fear arises, when whispers of doubt arise, it's the light switch method. And you just have to practice turning that thing off. But you have to talk to yourself to do it. And for me, especially when it comes to fear, because fear and anxiety all reside in the future, not the present. And so when I'm worried about something or stress pops up, especially as an entrepreneur and financial things, like I know I want to do this and what are the clients looking like and I tell myself that's not a problem for right now. If I can't do anything about it at this very moment, at this very second, to actually fix it within my control and no one else's, it's all on me, then that is not a problem for right now. That's a problem for later. And we focus on now. What do we need to do now to push the needle forward? What do we do now to get out of our own way? Jateya, why are you feeling this way? Name the feeling. What is this feeling? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Where did it come from? What triggered this? Did you look at your bank account? Did someone come in and be like, girl, why are you doing it? You all over it. What triggered? Talk to yourself and talk yourself through it. Ask yourself question after question after question. And then who gonna check you, boo?
One of the most powerful things that I recently heard is we are more convinced by our own words because they are in our own voice. And so when you started talking about talk to yourself, it really is a powerful thing to do, because if you're saying defeating things to yourself, then you have the most influence on yourself. And so if you were able to shift that and begin to speak life-giving things to yourself in your own voice, you are going to have maximum impact to make the thought and mind shift changes that are necessary. And so when I heard that, I really had to play it back, because we do talk to ourselves, whether we do it audibly like me. You can find me walking through talking to myself all the time, or whether we do it mentally. We are saying things and we hear them in our own voice. And so I love how you took us back to that, because we have so much power there that we honestly don't give ourselves enough credit for. And I think the most desperate situation is someone who isn't saying anything to themselves. And operating with that tendency, you can begin to see a big shift if you would just start talking like you said. So I think that that was really powerful.
Thank
My
you.
next question for you is, what relationships have you found to be must-haves for yourself to do what you do?
Community is so essential to everything that you do, and finding your people, the ones who get you, the other visionaries, the other black sheep, the other multi-passionate, the other trailblazers, and really creating your own community, which is why, like I said, I started with the Clarity community to create that safe space. And so for myself, I have my own people that get it, and we check in weekly, because life's and you need someone to bounce things off of, and flesh out those new downloads and give you a different perspective. Life creates experiences and access and opportunities for each of us individually. And so talking to someone else who gets it, who has a different perspective on life, who've experienced different things, can say, well, you can do this. And my mind has been blown at the level of acceleration that I've had because of community, and not just uh, family and friends, but community. This virtual world has opened up a whole nother can of worms that's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. And so community is essential. And they're the reason I've been able to do what I do and continue to do what I do at the acceleration and the rate that I do it.
So, what do you feel has been the best investment that you've made in yourself? And when you take a reflective look at your journey, you say, this was the best investment that I've made.
Coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching, like I said, everybody wants to DIY at least for a year and a half, 2 years in the beginning. And I was investing in small things like a $47 course on the algorithm, but nothing was there or an investment specifically for me. So I would even say coaching / therapy, because therapy definitely was a big one for me too. That really unlocked and allowed me to tap back in after life conditioned me to not listen to my voice, like you were saying, but everybody else's voice. Because when we're not talking to ourselves, we still hear things. We're still talking to ourselves, but it's not in our voice, it's everyone else's. We hear what they're saying to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so coaching and therapy allowed me to tap back into my voice and find my voice again.
That's powerful. So, now that you brought up coaching, what would you say is the biggest misconception about coaching?
The biggest misconception is that your coach is supposed to tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and do it for you. And that is not the case. The case is for them to really help you hone in and tap in. Like, it's everything you need is in you.
Mm-hmm.
And because we always want a quick fix, we expect the coaches to say, ABC, 1, 2, 3, we do that and magic happens. And that's why you have coaches out here marketing, I can help you make 6 figures in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know they're playing on your desires and your fears and your lack mindset to hurry up and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But a real coach and a good coach is going to give you the tools to equip you to do it over and over and over again, with or without them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the biggest misconception, because I have people there like, well, how did you do this? Well, no. Tell me exactly what you did. And I'm like, dealing with multi-passionates and visionaries, it's your vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's also where Who Gonna Check You Boo came from. It's your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about your vision.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do your vision? And so when you get a coach, a good coach, they're going to make you really focus and get clarity in you and your vision and how to execute it. And they're there to support, but not tell you exactly what to do and how to do it.
So, as you think about what you do, how you show up, how you serve, what do you love most about what you do?
I love most about what I do, it's the ripple effect. It's the ripple effect. I start a ripple and my clients are able to continue it, and it just continues on and on and on. And I've been able to see it create this massive wave of impact and income for them and for their clients, right? And so I'm excited to see it turn into a tsunami, which normally has a negative connotation, but I want the world to be basked in the goodness of multi-passionates and the impact that we have to make the world a better place. One of my favorite sayings is help me help you help us. And us is the world. Help me help you make the world a better place. Let's help us. Because if you're living out your purpose and walking in your purpose, you're making the world a better place for us all. And if I can help you do that and start that ripple, that fills my cup. That's what I enjoy most. I love seeing people create legacy in some type of shape, form, or fashion. I love community sustainability, and I all think it goes together. If you're living your life's dreams, you're able to then provide a space for someone else to walk in their purpose in some type of shape, form, or fashion, whether you're giving it to them as a job or you're able to coach the youth up to, be able to really hone in what they do and not what they want to do when they grow up. And so that's what it is for me. It's about the ripple effect, the legacy, the impact.
That's huge. So around these parts, I love to tap into wisdom as if we hadn't already, because you've poured out quite a bit. But let me just ask you these closeout questions to see what else we can pull out. So the first one is this: life wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about life if you could?
Continue on because it gets better.
That's so good. So, so good. My grandmother used to say, just keep living. That's how she would say it. Just
Exactly.
keep living. All right. Love wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about love if you could?
Love you first. Choose you first. Self first is not selfish.
That's so powerful. We get that one a little late in life. And unfortunately, sometimes it comes after some disappointments, is when it really sinks in that we need to prioritize ourselves. So I love that. And then finally, happiness wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about happiness if you could?
It's not contingent on others. So it kind of goes back to the second one. When you choose you can't lose access to the happiness. It's only that comes into people pleasing and doing for others and putting you last that you start to lose pieces of that. And so happiness starts with you.
Powerful. So tell us more about what's next for you and how people can get in touch with you.
So my playground is Instagram, but you can find me all places at Jateya Jones. JateyaJones.com/services is where you can find everything Plan to Win and clarity. What we have coming up next, we have so much going on in 2023 that I'm excited about. But first is the Plan to Win Incubator. The 12-week container starts in March. This year, we're also in the fall doing the Becoming Retreat because I have a passion to help multi-passionates truly become the person that they've kept locked away in exchange for acceptance and shine as their true, whole, cohesive, authentic self. And so the Becoming Retreat will be in the fall of 2023. And so those are the two big things, but there are things going on throughout the year, but you can always stay abreast. And the 2023 Plan to Win Planner is out. And so you can find all of that at jateyajones.com/services.
Thank you so much for joining me today. And
Thank
can I
you.
just tell you, success looks so good on you.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'm trying to be, I would say I'm trying to be like you because I feel like you've tapped into it all. I'm in the process of becoming an author and writing a book right now. And so, yeah, because it really looks good on you and you're doing an excellent job at changing lives and impacting lives. And so I appreciate that and receive that from you.
Just a ripple, girl. I'm just a ripple.
And I thank you for it.
That was such an incredible conversation. I'm not really sure what else I can add. I guess I would just leave you with this. I believe in you. I'm excited about the future you can have. I'm really excited about how you can make this the best year ever for yourself. I am so excited about helping you build a life that you love. I'm excited about being a part of your success journey every week. I am just completely excited about you. And I hope that you share that same sentiment about yourself. I hope that you feel excitement for your future too. I hope that you've been ignited to go for the things that you secretly want. Now, if you're waffling with that, I want to just ask you a few questions because I want to energize you thinking about the possibility of you. I want you to be encouraged to stop the swirl, to get the clarity, and to pursue the life that you want. So imagine with me what it would be like if you just stopped putting it off. If you stop putting off your hopes, if you stop putting off your dreams, if you stop secretly wanting more. What I have found to be true for myself and for the many women that I've had the opportunity to work with is we often shrink and discount what we want because of everything and everyone else. And so what I want to encourage you to do right now is to prioritize you. I want you to lean in to all the things that you want within, but are often afraid to say. I want you to stop discounting your value and to really make your needs a part of your top 5, not just in word, but with action. I want to encourage you to get out of your own way and get so energized about the vision of who you can become and what you can accomplish that you pursue it with diligence. And more than that, I do recognize, just like Jateya said, that going about that alone is not the best strategy. Bringing people into your team will help accelerate you and assure your success. And so I want to ask you, have you been thinking on your own? Have you been working on your own? And is it time now to consider help for your journey? And I want to invite you again to go and check out the video, Women Want More. I put this video together because I want to encourage you to build a life that you love. And you can watch it on womenwantmore.live. It's a short video to encourage you to get out of your own way and lean into the possible you. You are possible. And you and I both know you really do want more. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And you already know I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Well, that's it, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Don't ever forget that you are truly blessed with life, love, and all the happiness your heart can hold. Be relentless in building a life you love without apology. I'm Denise Taylor, and you can always find me in our free Facebook community. It's Embrace Your Power, easy to find. Now be sure to rate and review this podcast and share it with a friend. And make sure you subscribe so that we can stay connected each week. And remember, God has not given us a spirit of fear. He gave us power. So be sure to always embrace your power and go.